बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। हेलो फ्रेंड्स, कैसे हो आप सब? उम्मीद है कि एचएपी खैरियत से हों जी। यू आर वाचिंग जीएन न्यूज उर्दू एंड ऐप तक की आम खबरें ये है। आज तारीख है या
May 10th, 2022 First, Russia, Ukraine, Ukraine war. Putin gave some hints in his Victory Day speech. Fighting for the motherland in Victory Day speech in Ukraine. Putin tries to defend the war in Ukraine in his Victory Day speech. Zelensky vowed 2 victorious days in Ukraine. The Ukrainian president has said he will not allow Russia to fit the Soviet Union's World War II victory. The UN human rights body will hold a special meeting on Ukraine. More than 50 member states supported Kyiv's request for a meeting, which would focus on alleged violations of Russian rights in Ukraine. Alive, Russia-Ukraine war. Russia is trying to attack Azovstal plant, Ukraine says. The president of the European Council, Odessa, was caught in the crossfire. We will win, Zelensky told Russia on the eve of World War II. History will hold Russia responsible. Zelensky. The G7 condemned Putin for killing 60 people in a school bombing in Ukraine. Russia fires hypersonic missile at Odessa. Live updates say shopping mall and 2 hotels in Odessa came under Russian military attack on Monday. A Ukrainian official said 3 Kinzhal missiles were fired from a plane and hit a tourist infrastructure target. Ukrainians being forcibly deported to Russia, US. Some important news from around the world. Seoul takes over as South Korea's new president. Train derails near Vienna. 1 killed. At least 1 person was killed and several others were injured in the blast. German schools are hosting Macron in Berlin. In his first foreign trip since winning re-election, the French president is discussing the Ukraine war in Berlin. Central items news. 12.3 million Syrian children need assistance. The United Nations has warned that declining funding is affecting much-needed aid and increasing children's struggles. A Palestinian man has been shot dead as he tried to cross a barrier in the West Bank. Israeli troops kill Palestinian NOC. Syrian rights groups have called on the United Nations to investigate Tadamon Mosque. Assad of Syria paid an extraordinary visit to allied Iran. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has visited Tehran only for the second time since the start of the civil war in his country. Now Asian news, from handshake to hostility. How dangerous is the situation in North Korea? Kim Jong-un, like South Korea, is experimenting with new North Korean weapons with urgency. Mahinda Rajapaksa, amid economic crisis, Sri Lankan Prime Minister resigns. 5 killed in Sri Lanka violence, PM resigns. Leni Robredo, leading Philippine Pink Revolution. Philippine elections, Marcos Jr. has a commanding lead. Unofficial tally shows Ferdinand Marcos ahead of rival Leni Robredo by double votes. Philippines, Marcos Jr. wins presidential election by a landslide. Shanghai accelerated the lockdown as Xi Jinping insisted on a zero-sum. Demonstrations in New Delhi's Muslim quarters were stopped after the protests. India, authorities halt demolition campaign in Muslim-majority area after protests. They say I insulted the army, Shahbaz Sharif, his real brother Mir Jafar, Mir Sadiq, Imran Khan. If decision on burqa is not withdrawn, pressure on Taliban will increase. US. The United States has said it will take steps to increase pressure on Afghanistan's Taliban if it does not lift its current sanctions on women. The Taliban last week announced a new style of dress that would require only the eyes of women leaving the house to be seen. Afghan Taliban chief Mullah Betullah Khudjara issued an order on Saturday ordering the country's women to be demarcated. The federal government fired Punjab Governor Omar Sarfaraz Cheema. The federal government has ousted Punjab Chief Minister Omar Sarfaraz Cheema, Kent Division said. Released Governor Punjab Sarfaraz Cheema's removal summary day after completion. As per Constitution and rules, Sarfaraz Cheema was then notified as Governor of Punjab has gone until the new governor is appointed. According to the Constitution, the Speaker of the Punjab Assembly will be the acting governor. Security has been withdrawn from Omar Sarfaraz Cheema after the notification was issued. High security alert outside Governor House.